We'll be hearing in detail how Rakuten is supporting AT&T, one of the world's largest brownfields, with their consolidation of their site rollout software. AT&T is, of course, renowned as an innovation leader globally in telecom, so this is a very exciting session for us. It's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Yigal Elbaz, the network CTO of AT&T. Please give him a big round of applause, ladies and gents. I'd also like to welcome back Sharad Sriwastawa, co-CEO of Rakuten Mobile and president of Rakuten Symphony, and our moderator for this session, Chetan Sharma, the CEO of Chetan Sharma Consulting. Many thanks. Chetan, I will hand over to you. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot. Great to be here with you, Yigal, again, and Sharad. Nice to meet you as well. So lots to talk about, little time, so I'll just get started. We're going to talk about operational transformation and how it fits in the AI era. Sharad, you gave us a good overview of the journey of Rakuten. If you could just talk about, clearly from the get-go of the Rakuten mobile network, automation was a key part of it. At the time, Gen AI had not emerged. And so what are your thoughts on how you went about automation? Was AI, how much of AI was involved, and how have your views changed about automation since the advent of Gen AI?
First of all, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So automation, as I said, right from the start, right from 2018, we had complete division focus on automation. I wouldn't say it was AI. For example, zero-touch provisioning, right? All these sites come as plug and play, like how Wi-Fi works. So that's not necessarily AI, but that was the automation that we took, and we said, okay, there is no need for anyone to go to the site. It should work automatically. Mm-hmm. So that was the during rollout days. Then we started using AI, for example, for RF planning or optimization or shop selection. Because at least in Japan with Rakuten ecosystem, we have 50+ million customers coming to our system every day. So we have huge database, and without violating any privacy, we use that data. We call it customer DNA. And based on that, many monetization techniques we are implementing there. So on the network side, focus is on auto RCA using AI. How do we teach the models? And from group side also, because we started this partnership with OpenAI last year, a lot of focus on network performance.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of leading up into that, given your enormous history in the wireless industry, each cycle brings its own opportunities and challenges. Given your significant announcements recently around Open RAN, how do you view the juncture we are at in terms of technology availability, the excitement around Open RAN, the excitement around AI, and how do you use those tools to transform the network?
We only have 45 minutes, so first of all, thank you for having me. Probably let me start a little bit with what we've announced late last year. We announced that we're going to accelerate the modernization of our wireless network. We've selected Ericsson to go on that journey with us, and we use that opportunity to announce that we're going to move into an open and cloud RAN infrastructure. We've made some bold statement about how much traffic is going to flow through this. By the end of 2026, 70% of our traffic is going to flow through open hardware architecture. And we have different definition of what open and cloud means. It's open hardware, it's migration into cloud RAN, it's the introduction of third-party radios, and it's the ability to use a management layer that no matter which vendor you're using, you only use one management layer that allows you to bring some ideas of AI, automation, and other stuff that you mentioned. We're pretty excited about the transition. Earlier this week, we announced our first call over the Ericsson Cloud RAN in our commercial network, so that was an interesting and important milestone for us. In terms of the timing, clearly we face a little bit of different challenges. Rakuten was kind of the poster child of Open RAN right from the beginning. They had the advantage of building a scratch a network from scratch, a greenfield. Generally speaking, different challenges from having an established network, migrating into Cloud RAN and Open RAN, but you always look, every operator is practically trying to look what is the right moment for them to do that transition. Some of this starts with the maturity of the ecosystem. Is the specification mature enough? Is there enough vendor ecosystem? If you think about the cloud aspects of this, is the energy or the capacity that comes out of a general purpose platform is at the level that you want. So if you feel that all of those things are in place, then you can start migrating into that process. And this is where we feel. We felt that this is the right time for us. We know what we're doing. We have a lot of experience on introducing new and open technologies into our network. And we felt that we are at the time that it's actually a time for us to start and doing that migration. So you want to?
Yeah, so I want to talk about the work that you guys are doing together. So maybe you can expand on and educate us on what are the specific problem areas or opportunity areas you're working on, and then I'll go deeper into questions. So anybody can start.
Sure, I'll start. We have a project called Network Simplification Transformation. We keep talking about Open RAN and Cloud RAN, a lot of the excitement of the architecture, but the real life is actually building the network. For sure, in the size of a network our size, nationwide in North America, that takes a lot of effort, a lot of planning. And we were at the point that process of site build and design required us traversing several systems that many of them were out there for many years. And so Rakuten Symphony, Rakuten Symphony were kind enough to come and help us with that. They looked at the problem and they said, hey, we think we can introduce agility and capabilities in that space. And we said, okay, let's see what can we do together. And honestly, to our great surprise, we've made a lot of progress. This is typical projects that may take 3 to 5 years in a company our size. Rakuten were able to show us in 18 months a lot of benefits. We've migrated already from old system into the new one. We're adding all kind of digitalization of our sites through drone, and everything is fed up into that systems. We give access not only to our designers, but we work with turf vendors. Yeah. Everyone get access to the same view through iPads. And so we're very excited about this. We're actually now thinking about where else we can extend that capabilities in other parts of where we're doing engineering and build. So we're pretty excited about this, and thank you for the great work that you've done with us.
Thank you, Yigal, for that. And before we talk about transformation, again, thanks for the Open RAN. That is the biggest push in industry for Open RAN, I would say. Okay, we have launched, and there are few networks on Open RAN, but coming from AT&T is the biggest thing. Yeah. So that's in the right direction from entire telecom perspective, I would say. Coming to the transformation project, it's a site manager, and we have now basically deployed in all the markets of AT&T, and we have maybe 6,000-7,000 users now. So, and trying to integrate and other applications on top of this. So for users, it's single window, and this has entire inventory management, which is key. And as of now, as Yigal was mentioned,
so users are AT&T staff who are working on site planning and partners.
Yeah. So it's mainly the construction team. Yeah, and the partners. Yeah. And slowly it will be also getting into site acquisition team and RF planning team.
Yeah. So could you just touch upon the process of getting the data in, and how much work was on the platform side to analyze it and get it in the form where it can be used? Was it something that you had already used at Rakuten Mobile and that's why it was easy for you, or could you just shed some light on the process?
Yeah, two things. Of course, in Rakuten Mobile, we have been using the same tool for site acceptance, site rollout. We have various, but it is used end to end, which is not used here. For example, for us, even all the drive testing, acceptance, cluster acceptance, market acceptance is done on same tool. We are not there yet, because it's huge. AT&T users are huge, and we have to go one by one. But the same tool is used by Nokia in 90 countries.
Yeah.
But that was first generation. This is much more advanced, and the advantage would be once we complete and we transform, this is basic requirement for AI to work.
Yeah.
Because unless you have data at one place, AI won't work.
Yeah.
So it has not started, but we are working with Yigal's team. How can we implement basic things? For example, which contracting company or contractor is performing well. And we have all the inventory data. There are so many insights which can be generated, which is not done yet, but that's planned for this year.
So, going from, when people just talk about Rakuten Mobile, a lot of the incumbents around the world will say, oh, it's a greenfield operator, and shrug it. But this example shows that a lot of the capabilities that were built for a greenfield operation can be adopted for an operator of that complexity and size as AT&T. So kind of going into other functions within the operations, so RF planning or doing things like checking the network on a constant basis. Like where do you go from next? Like what's the limit in terms of the capabilities that you have built for your own network can be transformed onto an existing network?
So as I said, it was greenfield. It was greenfield network. We could do whatever we want to do, and we had our own OSS, we had our own RAN, we had our own cloud. So for us to implement anything was, very easy. But talking about AT&T, there are people who have been there for 20 years using the same tool. For them to adopt to new thing will take some time.
Yeah.
So, but we are working on that direction slowly. So right now, if it is just the site manager or rollout manager, it can, next level will be RF. Maybe, next level could be. Finally, when we integrate everything, it can run planning, RF planning, prediction, optimization, and performance management. So this is just the start. We can, it will take some time, but that's the journey.
The important thing to understand is that in the project that we've done together, Rakuten were able to prove us that they can scale their platforms to our needs. If we decide to do or take advantage of other parts of their platforms that they build, they prove that they can scale it. And if we get to that point, I'm sure they'll do that.
So in terms of, the success factors of the project from AT&T's point of view, what do you think? I mean, clearly they brought into the table the capabilities. Did you have to do some changes on your end to make sure that project is successful and is completed in a timely fashion?
Yes. Again, I think we've been introduced with the level of agility that we needed. And I think typically one of the biggest challenges in such transformation is people used to what they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been working on some of those systems for many years, and it worked well. And changing people's habits, even if the neuron may look or feel better, is not easy. But I think that, all of us in the network organization, we felt it's important. We put the right leadership attention into this. And I think the moment people see the value, the ease of use, the benefits they can get of this, the full visibility, the efficiencies that come out of this, then it's much easier. So if you don't get to that point, and if it's just PowerPoints and conversation, the moment you get to the point where actual users are seeing the value, I'll tell you a secret, nothing happens in our company just because we said. We need to prove the value to the users. And if they see the value, they'll use it. And I think Sharad and team were able to demonstrate that capabilities and show the value to the users.
So another, the topic here at the show is AI, Gen AI, and everything encompassing it. From your vantage point, how do you see AI impacting operations and network, where you can start to see tangible benefits? I mean, there's a lot of rule-based analysis that gets done that's tagged as AI, but clearly the network and operations have tremendous amount of data that can be trained to do things that you want to automate. So Yigal, from a network engineering point of view, how do you see AI benefiting this transformation?
So let's take a step back, because there's a lot of conversation about AI and Gen AI. Clearly, it's not new for us at AT&T. If you go back to the 50s, you know where this was invented. But even if to the conversation today, I'm looking at AI in our industry in 3 dimensions. One is, telcos are companies like any other companies. We have customer service, we have marketing, we have software development, we have sales. So the same tools and the same capabilities that can be used in any other company in the universe can be used by us. We have a great chief data office team at AT&T, and they were first movers in that space. They took advantage of the fact that we have a lot of data, machine learning, and AI knowledge in the company, as well as our relationship with Microsoft, to quickly create a fully secure, isolated environment in Azure that allows us to upload our data and bring all kind of models and create what we called Ask AT&T, which is our own version of Gen AI that we can use to all kind of things inside of AT&T. Again, like hopefully any other company in the world. So that's number one. Number two, if you think about wireless network, AI is now being part of the standard, the way you think about network, when you think about capacity planning or spectral efficiency or energy efficiency or cost efficiencies. AI can help with all of this, and it's literally being part of the standards with 5G Advanced. And we're going to see this evolving over time. It's actually part of layer 1 and all. I'm sure you know this in Rakuten. There's concept like real-time controller and near real-time and not non-real-time like SMO. These are all platforms that allows you to bring AI on top of our wireless network. The third one is actually, do we need our own models? Mm-hmm. You're right. Operators, when we engineer and operate the network, we generate a lot of content, a lot of documents.
Yeah.
Great opportunity for us to see how we can do that differently, how we can do test scripts. And there's no doubt that all of us are interested to move to a higher level of automation when we run our network. It depends on the fact that you have a well open, established network. You know how to collect the data. You know how to run models on top of this. And you do this gradually. Our networks are very sensitive. It's mission critical. So our ability to introduce this gradually over time in a way that we feel pretty confident that if we allow things to be automated, they end up in the right outcome is really important. So you're going to see each one of us at its own pace get to that level of confidence to allow us to take more and more advantage of automation. But we're clearly very excited about this. I'm not going to go through all of the things that we've done over the years, but we've been highly involved and proactive in terms of introducing machine learning and AI and automation in our network.
Sharad, Rakuten is in a unique position of not only getting the network data, but also data about other activities about the customer on your vast number of properties. So how are you thinking about using AI to understand the customer first and then engage with them at multiple levels?
Well, few things. Last year we decided, and not just Rakuten Mobile, but group-wide, we have targets, measurable targets. So, and the first KPIs is every group company, we have 72 group companies, every group company is targeted to reduce operational costs by 20%. Every software engineer is using what is available today, made, ChatGPT, Copilot, or whatever. Everybody is equipped with this. We have AI for Rakutenians, which is enforced across all the group companies. Plus, now we are giving it to merchants and customers. So, at least in Japan market, we are thinking to give it all of our customers at very subsidized cost. And with the merchants for B2B, it's already in place. Second thing was, as Yigal mentioned, everybody has marketing costs, sales costs, customer support costs. So across there, we want to reduce it by 20%. And third was the enabler, which is not specifically for Rakuten Mobile or Rakuten Symphony, but for the ecosystem, how do we enable our merchants? We have thousands of merchants and partners because we have banks and e-commerce. How do we enable them to use AI? With all this said, we collect a lot of data. We call it customer DNA. Across, we basically know most of the things about customer, where he goes, where he lives, because we have insurance, we can say, okay, and we have mobility data. So if the person is driving at a high speed, we may decide, okay, for his automobile insurance should be higher, right? Or if someone is awake till 3 a.m. At a bar, we can say, okay, our insurance company, please raise the life insurance or don't give it up. So things like that, we are correlating all this data because we have that data. AI will not work without data, no matter what, right? So the richness of data is very important.
Are there any questions from the audience for any of our panelists?
Yeah.
So thank you for your very, very informative discussion. In terms of using AI and big data to improve your network, what traffic data is huge data. How do you extract useful data from all your huge traffic to actually put AI algorithm to work and to try to improve your network? Do you already do this? How do you do this? What do you use to do this? Can you comment on that?
So I'll give you one example because I spoke about that power efficiency. So in order to do power efficiency, we have thousands of servers, right, in the network and many radio sites. We need to just get the traffic data. Out of all the data, traffic data, how many users are there, what is the traffic carried. If at night there is no one in this building, which is where we have deployed indoor system, for example, we can switch off that, right? So things like that. This is one example where just the traffic data is required. If it is rural or suburban areas, we have multiple bands, we can switch off one band. If we are operating 4x4, we can convert to 2x2 based on traffic data and customer experience.
Very nice. Maybe one final question I'll ask is around network APIs, because that's a big topic here. And AT&T is clearly involved, has been involved for a long time. So what's the promise and how do we get it right this time?
The promise is simple. If you go 10 years back, we launched 4G, great networks, a lot of investment. At the same time, all kind of application and services and value was created on top of the network, and we didn't find collectively as an industry, we didn't find a way to benefit from it.
Yeah.
And fast forward into 5G, first of all, there's big differences between how telco looks today than what it was a decade ago. I think we have a much deeper understanding of cloud infrastructure and software and what is an API and how to work with developers, and networks are much more open. Part of the standards in 5G, there's function that it's all sole purpose in the standalone core is to expose APIs. And we all remember that we missed the opportunity in LTE. So I think if you take all of this learning and the maturity that we went through in terms of our ability to work in that environment and the pace of that environment, I think we are much well established to take advantage in the next wave of innovation, because there's new cycle of innovation will come, whether it's AR, autonomous cars, or any other additional use cases that will emerge. If you think there's a couple of things that are common into them, they are much more real time. They requires much more reliable networks in terms of consistency of the experience. And I think we can deliver on all of this, and I think we are very uniquely positioned in offer those capabilities. And I think what you're seeing is, for an example, the Open Gateway is a great example of, with the GSMA, having all of us operator to say, hey, this is important. Do you agree? And we all said, yes, we agree. And it's very surprising. We're actually working well together. In a year, there's several dozens of operators that joined. There's API through Kamara that are getting exposed. So we know how to work better together. We know how to move fast. And we have great assets in terms of edge and SA and other stuff that we can expose that can benefit developers. And if developers in the past were thinking, well, the network probably let me develop a lot of algorithm and intelligence into the app to kind of work around the network. We're getting to the point where anyone in the audience who want to develop an app that requires this can just develop to the network. That's a huge difference, and I think we are very well positioned to capture on that value.
Any final words, Sharad?
I think he covered everything. And just on top of that, RIC and NWDAP, which are, that will be critical as well in this year.
Okay, great.
I believe we have one question from the gentleman, yes.
Hi. It sounds like a marquee announcement that's come through today. Is this considered material for Rakuten Symphony? And is it the start of a beautiful friendship with more to come potentially?
Sorry, which announcement?
Sorry, today that Rakuten Symphony is helping AT&T with a potentially quite significant scale. Should this be considered a significant deal for Rakuten Symphony and with more potentially to come? Or is it just an update on something that's already been factored in?
Yeah, this is not an announcement. This is now we are running this program for 1.5 years. This is just to reiterate how successful we are, how we are closely working. And as Yigal mentioned, how agile our team is on-site and off-site, both in US and remote. So that's a start. That was start of a one product suite, and we have many more to go. So, yeah.
Are there any further questions from the audience? Ladies and gentlemen, give a very big hand to our panelists. Yigal Elbaz, Network CTO of AT&T, Sharad Sriwastawa, the co-CEO of Rakuten Mobile and President of Rakuten Symphony, and our moderator, Chetan Sharma,